All right, so it has been a while since I have done a team call, it feels like. Um, but as you saw with the team calendar, every Thursday, unless I'm not here, we will be doing a team call, 8:30 Eastern time zone. And sometimes they'll just be quick, like maybe they'll just be a half an hour. Other times I might have a guest on, like from the network that will share something. And if you guys ever have anything that you want to share, please reach out, and I would love to have you speak on whatever it is that you would like to share or give value to. So awesome. Go show Daddy, okay?
I don't make me feel.
Okay, so tonight I'm going to talk about Instagram and like connecting, and also a little bit of. Can you guys hear that background noise? My washing machine is going. Is it too loud? Okay. I'm going to talk about connecting and also a little bit about Instagram growth. And I think that this is something that we all sort of struggle with. So I'm going to dive into that tonight. But first, I wanted to start with recognition. So if you guys have anyone that you want to recognize, whether they're on the call or not, you can just go ahead and unmute yourself. Anyone? Nothing? No one?
Can I recognize myself for eating an entire cauliflower crust pizza?
Nice. Way to go. Where did you get the recipe from? Or did you buy it?
I bought it.
Oh, okay. I still haven't found one that I love, but I'm hopeful.
Mine's from Costco. You guys have Costco, right?
Yeah, we do. So was it already one that was made?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I bought those and I hated them, but they're loaded with tomatoes, right? Mine had tomatoes on it, and I don't like tomatoes, so I couldn't even get past that. That really threw me off. Yeah, but yeah, maybe they'll have other flavors. Anybody else have some recognition? No. Okay, I do. I'm just going to make sure everybody's muted. And, of course, use the chat, you guys, tonight. I don't think she's on here, but Tamara, I hope I'm saying her name right. She is Emerald today. So she is a brand new coach, just signed up a couple weeks ago, and she just jumped right into things and is now a new shiny emerald. So huge congrats to her. I also wanted to shout out the coaches who are in my new coach workshop right now. There's a couple of you guys in here, but you guys are just doing so great. And I've just been sort of pilot testing this bit of a training, and I think it's going to be really, really effective. So you guys were sort of my first ones to go through it. So I appreciate you guys for showing up and doing the work, and you're in your final days of it. But the training doesn't stop there by any means. That was just like to get you going, which, all of you guys did get going. So that's awesome. The other shout out I wanted to do was for Stacy, and I think she's on here. I just don't see her, but she is like really pushing for Diamond, and I feel like every time I look in my back office, she's adding another coach to her team. So she's just doing awesome and really pushing, and oh yeah, she is on. So good job, Stacy. Okay, so going back to the new coach training thing that I was talking about, I know I posted in the team page about it. Just to kind of recap, so this is for, she's nursing. So this is for any new coach or a coach that has not yet jump-started their business or started. This is going to be so great for you. There is not anything epic happening in there. There isn't any new information that I'm providing. I'm actually trying to keep it as simple and as less overwhelming as possible. So it's really accountability for new coaches, and it's just giving them that like shove off the ledge that a new coach needs, instead of like playing it safe and not really taking any action. These 14 days are all about taking action, being accountable, and it's done on the tracker, which I really like. And I just take the lead of the people who are in there. So if there is tons of questions coming in, I'll be popping in live every day and answering those questions on video. So if there's nothing going on there, I won't be really showing up much in there either. So I sort of like take the lead of what everybody's in there, how they're doing, instead of just posting a bunch of information that's no one's even keeping up with. So I hope that makes sense. So I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be super effective and simple for new coaches to just start. Because if you're a new coach and you have started, you know that is like key in this. And you can, too many times I see coaches just not start ever, and they never get going. And I think that if we can, as leaders, get these new coaches just going, then they'll see the momentum and they'll feel the momentum and they'll just keep going and they'll instill those habits. So that's the whole point of this 14-day new coach training workshop, whatever I'm going to call it. I really don't know yet. Okay, so let's jump into tonight's call. So this business it's a process. It is not anything that is like a get rich quick scheme. There is no instant success in this business. And yes, we see coaches hit emerald in their first week. We see coaches hit diamond in their first 60 to 90 days. Like, that stuff does happen. But if you're not seeing like this instant success, don't get discouraged. Providing that you're still doing all of the things you need to be doing. Everybody's success comes at a different pace. And I think that's really, really important for you to know. The first people who I like brought into this business with me as customers, they weren't strangers on social media, or they weren't like close, or cold acquaintances that like I never talked to, but they're on my Facebook list. Those weren't the people that signed up with me first. The people who signed up with me first were the moms on the playground. Because what I did is I went to school one day and dropped my littlest off, and I said to the moms on the schoolyard, like very nervously, like wanting to puke, and I was sweating, and I was like, hey guys, if I like started up like a little like fitness challenge on Facebook, would you guys be interested? And they were like, yeah, that would be so awesome. Oh my gosh, amazing. I'm like, okay, cool. Are you guys okay if I just send you some details later on today about it? That's how I started my very first accountability group. There was like 3 of them that bought the 21-day fix basic package, like just the DVDs of 21-day fix. And that is how I ran my first group. And then near the end of that challenge, I said to them all, okay, are you guys ready to do another 21 days? Do you guys have any like friends or anybody? And they're like, yeah, actually I was telling my sister about it. So I had like one more person join the next month. And then the next month I had a couple more people. So that is sort of how my business started to take off. It wasn't that I had these random people messaging me and like success started, right? That's not how this starts. I also went to work as like I'm a nurse, and I was in the lunchroom and they saw my containers. Someone saw my containers. So we started having a conversation about the 21-day fix. And then I very nervously, wanting to puke, behind the scenes, was like, hey, so if I like put together like a challenge, like maybe the whole floor could do it. Like, would you guys be into that? Oh yeah. So the entire floor of nurses and like all like the office staff and the scheduling clerk, like everybody was like, yeah, that'd be amazing if you did this for us. I'm like, okay, I'll send you guys details. And that's how then I ran another group and I got this other like influx of people. It wasn't because I was posting on social media and random people were seeing me. But what I was doing as I was building these like relationships that I already had with people who knew and trusted me, I was posting on social media and I was creating connections with people who I did not yet know, people who did not yet trust me. And it was those people that months later decided to join me. It wasn't immediate. It wasn't that first month that I connected with them. It was down the road. And in fact, those people now, some of them are just wanting to get started 3-4 years later. So I hope that you guys can sort of see like the evolution of this business. It takes a while. You've got to build and fill your funnel constantly. So this kind of goes back to like, okay, well, how do you connect with people? Like, I think we can all agree that spam messaging invites out doesn't really work. All that does is it makes us feel good because we can check the box on our tracker that says invite at least 5 people to join you, right? That's on our tracker. And so we like, I mean, I love the tracker. It is like my Bible. I've got it right here beside me, like diligent about my tracker. But I don't look at that box and go, oh crap, I've got to check it. I'm going to start sending out 5 copy and paste messages to people, because that doesn't work. Like, you have to connect with people, and an invite has to happen very organically. I'm going to use the example from today. So in one of my message threads with some coaches, and I'm pretty sure, Jen, this was you, right? It was you today. Yes. So Jen was in a conversation with somebody, I think like a new follower, and they were just like chit-chatting, and it kind of got into like talking about getting their kids to school or like the commute to school. And Jen just happened to mention that she is like an online health and fitness coach, so she's able to do this from home. And the person replied back like, oh, that's so cool. I actually looked into that at one point. So that is when a natural invite occurs. She would have been crazy if she was like, oh yeah, that's great. No, what Jen did is she was like, oh my gosh, you should totally think about doing this with me. It's so amazing. Like, it's changed so much in my life. Did you want to check out some details? That is how a natural, not spammy, not icky invite occurs. Yes, we feel a little nervous when we send that still, but we don't feel like, oh my God, like if I ever actually run into this person, like I'll be so embarrassed because I'm cold messaging her and inviting her when I don't even know anything about her. That doesn't feel good. But when you're in a conversation with someone and connecting with them, and it feels right to go into that invite, that's when you invite, okay? But you have to put yourself into positions where that organic invite can actually happen. And the only way those types of invites can happen is if you are connecting with people. Because if you don't have any conversations happening on Instagram or on Facebook, you're not connecting with anybody. The connection has to happen first. And I spent a big part of this business connecting. Like, I'm talking, I was in my inbox so much, connecting with people, chatting with people, talking with people, reaching out to people, like not in a spammy way, but in just like a, hey, I saw you, were following along with my stories. Thanks so much for following along. Like, just random chit chat that I could do to create the connection. So I've got some notes here. Let me go back here. So how do you start to create these connections? Like, is this something that you guys feel you struggle with? Is the connecting piece? Like, we're all capable of sending out 25 invites with a copy and paste message and finding random people that follow us, right? Like, we all can do that. That's not hard. That's actually fairly easy if you get over like the icky feeling. But are you guys finding that the connecting piece is what's missing? You guys can just go into the chat and maybe just let me know so that I know I'm on the right track. Or if you feel like you've got if you're like, yeah, no, I'm connecting, like I've got these awesome women chatting with me, like, so where's the disconnect happening? Okay. Oh, perfect. Okay. So Janelle, you said that you feel you're good at making small talk, but don't have a good feel on when is the right time to invite. I think as soon as you feel that connection with them, like you feel that relatability, like you either relate to them or they relate to you. The trust factor has sort of happened. And if the conversation is like headed in that right direction, because the conversation has to sort of head there. Like Jennifer's example from today, the conversation was like headed in that direction because all of a sudden it went into like, oh, well, what do you do from home? And like that was like a very clear door open for the invite. So I think just always use your judgment, but as long as you've connected with them, it should never feel like super icky. Even if you've had a good connection with someone and then you can even like days later be like, hey, like I know you're going to think this is crazy, but I know like we've been chatting and I just feel like this would be such a good fit for you. Have you ever thought about doing what I do? Like that's not a spammy invite, guys. Like you've connected with them. You legit think that they would be awesome on your team or that they could benefit from this. That is different than blasting out invites to check off your tracker. So Laura, I'm going to yours because you said, I think I hold myself back because I feel like if someone messaged me randomly and invited me, I would be awkward. I'm not good with small talk. So you have to give people a reason to connect with you and to talk with you. Like if the conversation is feeling super awkward, like they're giving one response back and like you're not talking about anything, just leave that conversation. But it all goes back to what are you providing on social media? Are you giving people a reason to want to connect with you? So it really goes back to what does your social media feed look like? What are your stories about? Are you giving people a reason to reach out to you? Are you reaching out to people for a reason? Like, are you giving them value and you're messaging them to check in on the meal plan that you sent them or the free group that you ran or the book recommendation that you gave? So you have to make sure that, yeah, you're connecting with people, but there's a reason for all of that connection. Okay, so I'm good at chit chat, but I need to give them a reason why. I get it. Awesome. Okay. So let's talk about now, because this is all fun and games, but what if there's just nobody to be connecting with? Like, what if you're like, yeah, I hardly have any followers. I've talked to everyone. These aren't my people. Like my followers just aren't into what I have to offer. So that is on you. You need to fill your funnel constantly. And if you're all using the tracker, which I know you are, right? The first thing under connect, invite, and follow up is initiate connections and followers. And that is a 20-minute time frame that you're supposed to set your timer for to do this piece. This piece, I have to force myself to do it. I don't know why, but for some reason, it's like that one thing that I just hangs over me every day and I don't really want to do. Yet once I start doing it, I'm like, I love this. Like I could do this all day. So there's been some talk on different calls about this very subject, but I want to go over it again because maybe the way I say it is different than how Michelle would say it or how Justine said it. But this is what I do. This is what I do every single day. I did it today. I'll do it tomorrow. I set my timer on my phone for 10 minutes. And I go into Instagram and I already have a really good idea of who I'm going to search for right now or what page I'm going to search for. So when you're on Instagram and you're like wasting time, like we all do, right? If you come across someone who you follow that you just are like, yeah, like she's awesome. Like she's everything that I would love in a coach or just in a person. Like I love her posts. She's like, for me, it would be like this cute mom with little kids and pretty colors in her social media feed. And, you know, maybe she's a nurse or like, she's obviously not into network marketing or anything. I would screenshot her. If I was just like scrolling at the grocery store, I would just like screenshot her and put it in my back pocket for later. Or if I found a blogger or a little children's boutique, I screenshot these things all the time so I know to go back to them during my power hour. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go find one of those screenshots that I took, whether it's a person or a boutique or a page or what it is, And I'm going to go to that. I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes. I'm going to go to that page and I'm going to click on her followers. So the people who follow this person. Maybe this is one of your really good friends, like that you went to high school with, or maybe it's like your sister-in-law or a coworker or a complete stranger who you have no idea who she is, but you just really kind of look up to her and like her style. You're going to click on her followers. And then you are going to not overthink this, and you are going to have absolutely no attachment to any of this. You are just going to go through them and you are going to hit follow, 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 follow. Obviously, don't pick, ones that aren't like that don't interest you, like men. I'm not going to follow men. I'm not going to follow like business names. If they like really look like they're an influencer from their profile picture, I probably won't follow them. But don't click into their profile. Don't spend time on this. This is a very quick task. Do not overthink it. You're just literally going to go through follow, 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 follow. No attachment. Just please do not overthink this because you can waste a lot of time. I'm just going into the chat here. Okay, Laura, remind me to come back to this whole unfollow thing just in case I don't. But if you guys want to like get out your phone right now and do this, you can. Like if you have not added followers to your Instagram, this is like a great time to do this. So I use 10 minutes of my power hour to do this task. I don't look at notifications. I don't have my computer up. This is all I am doing on my Instagram for 10 minutes is I go through and do that. And if I get to the end of that person's list, I go quickly grab another one of those screenshots and look up another person that I want to look up, and I go to her followers. And even what you can do too is when you're going through these followers, if you come across someone like, here, she looks pretty good, I'm going to click on her profile, I'm going to click on her followers, and I'm going to start adding those followers. So as you can see, it is like a never-ending world in this. Like you can get down a rabbit hole and never come back out because you will keep finding new people to follow. But only give yourself 10 minutes. You have to put boundaries on this because either A, you'll never do it, or B, you'll waste all your time in the world doing it. So be intentional. Are you still doing 50 at a time? Honestly, I don't even count, to be honest. I just give myself 10 minutes, and including in that 10 minutes is like looking at my screenshots. Like I just give myself 10 minutes for that task. Probably some days I'm adding way more than other days, depending on, you pick a person and then you're like, oh, these aren't my people at all. I need to quickly find another one. But I haven't been blocked or had any warnings, and I'm just willy-nilly doing it for 10 minutes, basically. So then when the timer goes off, you stop and you set the timer for another 10 minutes. And then you go to your profile on Instagram and you go to the people who you are following. And now, I don't know if this was always the case, but now you will see that it says sort by default. And if you click the little arrow by default, you can actually sort by the earliest people that you've started following or the latest people you've started to follow. So if you go to the latest, those are going to be the people that you literally just started following like 10 seconds ago. So do that. And then what you are going to do for 10 minutes is you're going to connect with these people. Again, don't overthink it. You're not going to be able to connect with all of the people you followed. So you just do what you can do and let go of the rest. But just click on somebody, go to their profile. If they have stories, watch their stories. If you can comment on one of them, like, oh my gosh, she is adorable, or where did you get that awesome headband, or oh my gosh, I was just to St. Lucia too. Like, I'm making that up. And then look at a couple of their pictures, like them. If you can comment, if like there's a reason to comment, just don't do lame ass comments, like do real comments. Comment, and then go back to your list of people you're following and click on another one. And you do this until your timer goes. 10 minutes. You get in, you get out. It is effective. It is simple. But if you see, for one, hopefully you guys all have your notifications turned off on your phone. Because if you are like seeing like so-and-so commented on your post, Megan posted in Abundance Nation, you need to turn all of that stuff off, because you will never get anywhere in this business if you still have notifications going. Turn them all off. So do not get sidetracked. Do this for 10 minutes. And then that's it. And then you stop. And then what you're going to notice is throughout the day, people will respond back to your comment and you can respond back to them. You'll see that some of those people start to follow you back, because it's different than just following people and then stopping. When you follow someone and they also see that you took the time to comment or to watch their stories, they're going to be so much more likely to follow you back. And then what are they going to do? As soon as they follow you, or as soon as they see you have followed them, what's the first thing you do when that happens? You go and look at that person's profile immediately. So they're going to go and they're going to look at your Instagram feed. So this is always a gut check. If somebody goes and looks at your Instagram feed right now because you followed them, are you giving them a reason to follow you back? Are they going to look at your news feed or your, whatever it's called, Instagram feed? And are they going to look at you and be like, oh, she's just trying to sell me something. That's why she added me as a follower. Or are they going to look and be like, huh, and read and click on a post and read it and be like, wow, she gave me value, or I learned something, or I laughed. She's giving away something. And is she going to see your stories and be entertained? And if she's the right person for you, she's going to watch your stories and go, oh my God, she's living my life. Like, this person is exactly like me. Like, when I do videos of Andy like screaming in the background and me like breathing through them and like talking myself through not losing my shit, that is when I get the most people message me saying like, oh my gosh, thank you for sharing that. I can relate to that so much. So what are people seeing when they see your stories and go to your feed? And you will, like, if you're like, oh God, they'll never follow me, my feed sucks. Like, you're going to improve. If you are new to this, you will improve. You just like keep learning and you trial and error. But really, like, ask yourself, am I giving people a reason to follow me back? And will they connect with me? Okay? So that is a huge thing that should be on your day-to-day thing. I mean, it's on your tracker, so regardless, you should be doing it. But it is like super important. And missing this step is like a big reason why some of us don't see the level of success that we want to see, is because we're not connecting with these people. Does that all make sense? Or is that like stuff that you're like, yeah, I knew that. I was doing this all along. Or is this like is this new information? This would be helpful for me to know. I'm always trying to figure out like what you guys like, where's the like, oh my God, yeah, I'm not doing that. This could change things for me. Or like, yeah, give me some feedback, guys. Yeah.
So, Ira wanted a bookmark, so I'm going to give him this one.
Oh, that's nice.
He kept asking people.
Why don't you say to Ira from Lucy?
Okay.
That'd be nice. You can use
Are these shapes?
Well, kind of. Okay. Yeah. And I think it's just having a system, right, guys? And the timer is so effective, because if you're like, oh, I got to find followers, and there's something very powerful about setting a timer and knowing, okay, this isn't like an indefinite task. It's 10 minutes. And then if you need to get up and like go walk away, but it's about being super intentional, because I know, oh,
yeah,
okay.
These aren't Sharpies.
No, they're not. Okay, we'll deal with it after. I know that we can so easily waste time on our phones, like to the point where we start to feel crazy. Like, you have to set boundaries with these stupid devices. Like, they're amazing. They've built me a 6-figure business, but I also hate them at the same time. So you need to set boundaries, or else you will be depleting all of your energy by scrolling and looking at other coaches and commenting on other coaches' stuff like that are on the team. Like, you need to focus on what is going to move your business forward. Jennifer, you're waving. Do you have anything to say, or you're just like agreeing? You're agreeing. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. And I have to like really work hard at this whole like not wasting time on here. Airplane mode. Actually, you know what? I learned the lesson. Airplane mode can be dangerous because when you have airplane mode on your phone, calls don't go through. And so I had a really bad situation where like nobody could get a hold of me. And I was like, oh, I feel so good, airplane mode. And there was like hell breaking loose out in the outside world. And I was like, oh yeah, just detoxing from my phone. So what I do actually is I turn off the cellular data on certain apps like Instagram and Facebook and Messenger. And then I turn my Wi-Fi off. So I can't even access Facebook and Instagram. So in the morning from like 5 until after my workout, so at night I do that. I turn off my Wi-Fi and I turn the cellular off on my apps so that I'm not sitting in bed doing that. Like, I really try at 9:30 to turn everything off so that I'm not wasting time. I'm not going to do anything productive then with my business anyways. And at 5 in the morning, that morning is sacred to me. I don't want to be wasting time on my phone. So I don't even allow myself to access them. And then I do that again when my kids get home from school, and I set those boundaries. So I'm getting off track, but how did you say go to the most recent followers? So go into your followers, click following, and then you should see it says sort by default. I don't even think you guys can see that. Do you see that? Does everybody else see that? Hopefully. Okay. Okay, so something else that I'm going to share, and this is the last thing I'm going to share, but we need to be really strategic with our polls. And I've been playing around with this today, and perhaps you received a message from me just recently, but what I did is like, you know, we do these polls about like anything, like, are you like, what did I do this morning? I did something about, or yesterday, something about journaling. Like, are you into journaling? And one was no, I wish, and another one was like, yeah, I am, or something. So of course a lot of people hit no, I wish. So what do you do with that? Like, you could send them a message and be like, oh, I saw you commented on my poll about journaling and how you wish you could be a journaler. Thanks for clicking on my poll. Like, that's super awkward and lame. But at the same time, you're like, I don't want to waste this poll. Like, people commented on it. Well, what should I do with this? So, and trust me, I was that awkward person. I was like, oh, so thanks for commenting on my poll that had nothing to do with my business or hitting Success Club or signing a coach. But thank you. Like, are you a morning person? Yes or no? So what I did is with that journaling thing is I messaged everybody who said yeah, I wish I journaled or whatever it was. And I messaged them and said like, hey, I don't even know what I said. Probably some of you guys, I sent it to you. But basically what I did is I said, if you're wanting to get started with journaling, I totally recommend the 5-minute journal because I use it every morning. If you guys watch my Insta stories, you see me use it every morning. It is something I love. It is something that helps me with journaling. So why not do a poll about something that I know I can offer people? So that way, when everybody answers, oh, I wish I was into journaling, or I should start journaling, I can give them value back. I can message them right from the poll, which I did not know you could do. Do you guys know you can do that? Yeah. Okay. I was really slow on that. But if you look at who commented on your poll or who clicked your poll, there's a little arrow that you can hit, and it will send them a message with the picture of the poll they clicked on, which I think is just genius. I'm very slow to that. But I sent that out to a bunch of people, and I was like, yeah, just in case you were looking for a resource, I totally recommend this. So not only are people watching my stories and hitting random polls, but they're getting value from me. I'm taking the time to message them and say like that you should do, like I'm giving away free value. That's the difference. That is where the connection piece happens. That's where they re-engage back with me and they're like, oh my God, thank you. Like nobody ever responds back to me when I click a poll about something pointless, right? The only time we reach out to people about polls is if it's about a challenge group. So another one I did was I talked about a recipe yesterday. Like I made a bunch of food and I said, do you want me to share the recipe? I had like 50 people, which I have never had that many people tap on a poll. I had like over 50 tap the poll about the recipes, wanting the recipes. So I was like, okay, what am I going to do about this? Like, how can I do this strategically? So I post the recipe on my Instagram feed tonight. And I said, if you want this recipe, go watch my stories. So I'm directing people back to my stories. And then, and I'm like super intentional, I did a call to action about my accountability group. And after that, I posted the picture of the recipe of the soup that people wanted. So then what I did is I went back to the poll that they all commented on last night, like 50, however many of them. I messaged every single one of them and I said, hey, I just wanted to let you know that I just posted the recipe. I don't want you to miss it. Go check out my stories before it's gone, or whatever I said. So that then brings people, they're like, ooh, I wanted that recipe. They're going to go to my stories and they're going to have to watch all of my stories that I did today. And because I'm super intentional with my stories, I know they're going to see my morning routine this morning. They're going to see me working out. They're going to see a little bit about my life. So they're probably going to relate to me if they're my people. And then they're going to hear me talk about my accountability group and they're going to be like, ooh, what's that all about? And then they're going to get to the recipe and be like, wow, amazing. She just gave me this really great recipe. And then tomorrow morning when my stories pop back up, they're going to watch them tomorrow and they're going to hear me again talk about enrollment to my wellness club. So they're like, oh, I keep hearing about this. And then they're going to see like my posts and then they're going to keep watching my stories. So do you guys see like how this works? It's like this like funnel, but you have to be intentional with it and you have to give it time and like nurture it and give value constantly. And even for the people who maybe never do watch my stories, but saw my post about the recipe, they're going to be like, oh, hey, that recipe looks good. I'm going to go to her stories. And for the first time ever, they start watching my stories and they're like, oh, who is this person? Like, I can totally relate to her. Like, she's waking up early because she has 4 kids and, oh, she's a nurse and, oh, look, I can join her team. Like, this is how these things happen. So it's like a timeline. So when I'm always telling you guys, you need to be intentional about posting and intentional about your content, this is the reason why. Because I could have, like, I used all of this in the last 24 hours to my benefit. One post about making soup for my friend who had a baby. I've used that for 24 hours to get people into my funnel. And my messages right now, because of me messaging all those people about the recipe, I have 34 messages right now in my Instagram inbox to go through, to have a conversation with. Like, oh my gosh, you're welcome. I love soup this time of year. By the way, I'm also running a free group right now over on Facebook with crock pot recipes. Did you want to join that too? Intentional. I plan things out strategically at the beginning of the month so that everything is timed together. So I'm constantly building my funnel, okay? And this takes time and practice. And if you're a new coach and you're like, oh, well, I've really fucked things up this month, like, you will learn. Start by taking like one small task, like maybe create a post and direct those people to your Instagram stories so they can get their hands on your personal development recommendations. But make sure you've got something in there about your accountability group that you're running and enrollment's open. Does that all make sense, you guys? Okay, questions. comments, anything? Okay. Well, that was 40 minutes. Oh, unfollowing app. Thank you. So Jessa, what if I don't have a group yet? Jessa, are you in an accountability group right now? That's going to be my question to you. Where are you? Oh, yeah, there you are. Oh, Jessa. Yeah, so you can add to mine. Okay? So that is your accountability group. Like if you guys don't have your own, that's fine. But my guess is you're in one, whether it's mine or your uplines. You invite to that. You talk about that group as if it's your own. You cannot wait. Like you can't just not talk about your accountability group and enrollment and how you can join the fall wellness club. Like you need to be talking about something. So if you're not going to run your own yet, which is fine, you have to talk about the one that you are currently in. You have to own it. Get people in there. Okay. The unfollowing app. So there was an unfollowing app called Cleaner, which you could just like go through and quickly unfollow all the people who aren't following you. I don't think it's working. I think all of those third-party tools Instagram has caught on to. So really the only way to do it is manually. So what you can do is on weekends, for instance, just don't follow people on weekends. Do it like Monday to Friday, this following task. And on weekends, go through and just unfollow people. Again, don't have any, what am I wanting to say to it? Like, don't hold on to, like, don't have any meaning behind it. Literally go into the people who you are following, start unfollowing. Don't worry if they're following you. Don't worry if they're your person. If they haven't followed you back, if they haven't engaged in your stuff, forget about them. There are 6 billion people out there. You'll find more. Just go through and unfollow. Do that several times a day. It takes like a minute and a half on weekends, and just do it. You can't have any, what's the word I'm looking for? Connection with that, or any, you just have to disconnect yourself from the fact, like, because I have to stop myself. I'm like, oh, that person looks like she'd be an amazing coach. I can't unfollow them. Well, if you haven't made any connection with them, and if they haven't connected with you and they're not even following you, forget about it. Like if they're still following you, awesome. They'll continue to watch your stuff, but you don't need to be following them if you're not even connecting with them. So just have no attachment. That's what I'm trying to say. Have no attachment to that task. You have to clean up your followers. You don't want to be following more people than people who are following you. That doesn't look good, like, to people who come to your page. So you want to get that following number lower and the followers higher. So it's a bit of a balancing act. So I hope that makes sense. And where did I get my Law of Attraction planner? I got it from the website. It's like the Law of Attraction website. What is it called? Freedom Mastery. Mastery. Just go to the freedommastery.com website, I think. Yeah, freedommastery.com. That's where I got it. You can also get it from Amazon, but I think it ends up being a bit cheaper from the website. So I do recommend that everybody gets this for the new year. I know we're only in September, but if you're looking for a good planner, you can get it and start it now because it's not dated. But this is like something I would love for us all to have, because I could walk you guys through some really cool stuff in here. It's just, this has changed my life this year for sure, this planner. So it's a good one. Okay, can we also do a share of Insta social handles so we can support each other? Yes, I love that. So you are going to be, Jessa, you aren't in a message thread yet, but you will be getting into a message thread once this new coach training ends. So once you're in there, you're going to have like access to everybody on the team. So, but we can also do that in the team page too, if we just want to share people's Instagram handles. But don't get, my fear is that when we all start following each other, it's amazing, but don't spend time looking at our posts, right? Like, don't waste your precious, precious time. Either you should be working your business or be with your family. Like, don't be wasting it on like commenting on all of our stuff and watching everyone's stories on the team. That's awesome, and it's good to support each other, but like work your business or be with your family, really. Like that's my advice to you. Yeah. Okay. And that's it. All right, guys. I'll see you later.